Okay. There's really no different than the other problems. There's a slight change in the process, but it's very minor. So these really aren't that bad. Looking at it though, what's the difference? Why is this one different? It's got more terms. It's x to the 4th. It's really not that bad. Starts the same way. Go to your calculator. Let's type it in. Let's see what happens. And don't just watch me. Do it on your own, so you know that you can do this later on without me there showing you every dang step of the way. This is stuff you guys need to eventually be able to figure out. So, what's the calculator telling us? What are we supposed to be looking for anyway? What some of the possible zeros are. So I'm going to look at -2. Is -2 working? Yeah. What else? Looks like 1 might be working. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to list those over here. X equals -2 and x equals +1. We already know that they work because we've seen it on the graph. We still need to do the synthetic division. The only difference is we have to do it twice. And you'll see why here in a second. So, do the synthetic division. Cole, where's your notes?
Right here.
Well, let's open them up and start writing. So do the synthetic division just one time on -2. It's not so much to prove the -2 works. We already know it works. We're trying to find out what the other factor is. We haven't done this in a while. Let's have somebody run up here. First one up gets to use the pen. Do the synthetic division for me. My legs are too tired. I can't stand anymore. Come on, don't make me do a voluntold. Hey, Sharon. So, Carrie, you want to try it? All right. Wait. Let me... There you go. I'm not saying anything, you know, just might be easier that way. You can press the button, hold the button down. And look at that. Eraser! Cool, huh? There you go. That's all right. Don't worry. Whoa! It's harder than it looks.
It's got to be a way to make it smaller.
There you go. Perfect. Thank you. So, again, it wasn't for the fact that we're trying to prove -2 works. We knew it worked. We were interested in this little guy down here. Okay? So what I want you to do is write this. We now know that f of x equals x plus 2 times x to the 3rd minus x squared plus 9x minus 9. Here's where the process gets slightly different. Last time, and on the quiz, once you did the synthetic division one time, you could go right into the quadratic formula. This is not a polynomial that you can use the quadratic formula on. It's x to the 3rd. Okay? You can only use quadratic formula on x squared. So give me some suggestions. Okay. This one actually might factor by grouping, but that's just a very, very good coincidence. Usually they don't. Okay? Does anybody else have any, if it doesn't factor by grouping, does anybody else have any suggestions? You have your hand raised over here. If it had been like x to the third, like minus 8, if it was just 2 terms, then we could do difference of cubes. That could work as well. What do you think?
You have to put it in your calculator and graph it and do like step 1.
Almost. You're very, very close. Did you guys hear what he said? He's it's not as bad as you think, though. We don't have to start over, but he's pretty close. Do you notice how I wrote both of these numbers over here? Didn't the -2 work and the 1 work? So what we're going to do now is take the x equals 1 and do the synthetic division on this, on the smaller polynomial. We don't have to do synthetic division on the original one anymore, just the smaller one. Okay? So now you use this as the equation for synthetic division. So I'm going to take the number 1 and do synthetic division on this smaller polynomial, 1, -1, 9, -9. Somebody want to come up and finish this one for me?
It's tons of fun, right, Carrie? That was a lot of fun up here, wasn't it? See? Come on, all right. Take one of those pens over there. Nice. Cool. Just one thing. There you go. Awesome. What do you guys think? Is that what we did?
Yep.
This tells us a whole heck of a lot.
What we now know, and I want you to write it like this, we now know that f of x can be written like this. We knew that x plus 2 was a factor. Now we know that x minus 1 is a factor because of this and because of that. And this tells us the other factor is x squared plus 9.
Now we've got it down to a quadratic factor. X squared plus 9 is a quadratic factor. So, say again.
X squared plus 9,
Those are going to be imaginary. So you were thinking where the x-intercepts were? Yeah.
Now let me show you two different things. Usually, like 90% of the time, once you get to a factor like this, you have to use a quadratic form. Okay? Which can still work here. X equals the opposite of b. What the heck is b? 0 plus or minus the square root of b squared. 0 minus 4 times a times c all over 2. Okay, and then 0 minus 36, what is that? So that turns into negative 36. What's the square root? I know maybe I'm moving a little quick here, sorry. Where'd that negative 36 come from? 0 minus 36. What's the square root of negative 36? 6i. Does this 0 really need to be here? It's kind of bugging me. I'm getting rid of it. And what's plus or minus 6i over 2? Plus or minus 3i. Now, this way will work using the quadratic formula. If it were me, though, I would rather do it this way. I'm going to take this x squared plus 9 and do this. All right, if x squared plus 9 equals 0, then you could subtract 9 on both sides, and you get x squared equals negative 9. What's the square root of negative 9? Plus or minus 3i. So you get the same answers. Okay, you can only do square roots like this if you're missing that middle term, if b is gone. If b is gone, I would do this way right here, the square root method. If you have a b term, you've got to do the quadratic formula. Okay? At any rate, this polynomial factors into x plus 2 times x minus 1 times x minus 3i times x plus 3i. And that's the only difference. You have to do synthetic division twice rather than just once.
That's not that bad, right?
So we'll do number 11 together. You guys are going to do number 12 on your own. So here's number 11.
Your time was 1 through 10, so now we're going to do number 11. It looks like it. It was similar. Yeah. We're going to get slightly different answers here. So let's do this one as a class, and I'll let you go and do 12 on your own. What's the first thing we're doing? Graphic. Anybody found any of the work? -3 works? And positive 3? Cool. Oh, Mateo, come on.
I can think of like 7 different things right now that are more terrible than this.
I can think of like a million.
Broccoli, steamed broccoli, boiled broccoli. Those are all worse than this. Raw broccoli.
I can think of 7 better things than this, though.
I can't.
Mountain Dew.
Nope.
Mountain Dew.
Nope. False. There's nothing better than this. So we're saying that 3 and -3 work. Is that what I'm hearing? So do synthetic division using one of those. It doesn't matter if you use 3 or -3 first. It really doesn't matter. Just choose one of them. And do the synthetic division. Colton, you're looking like you want to come up here and finish this one.
Oh,
The synthetic division, Lise. Get up here.
I don't think I can do it right now.
That's all I ask is that you try. This is number 11. Yeah. Not the whole problem, just do the synthetic division.
Okay, you're done. And that goes right there, right?
1 times 3. There you go. Those add. 3 times 4. And then those add. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, wow. That's
Boom!
great.
Thank you.
Oh, you want that?
Now, you guys, just to save time and space on your paper, here's what I would do. Don't we know that we're going to do synthetic division one more time? We've already used 3, so we're going to use -3. Rather than rewriting the polynomial and then doing synthetic division, let's just do the -3. And then, what are we going to do synthetic division on? 1, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to do synthetic division on the smaller polynomial right here. You guys follow it? So we have 1, 4, 5, 6. You're volunteering somewhere else?
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah.
Thank you. Now I would rewrite f of x at this point. Once we've done synthetic division twice, f of x is now this, x minus 3, x plus 3, and this is the other factor right there, x squared plus x plus 2. Oh, what? Wait a minute, there it is. So, what's the next option? We're down to x squared plus x plus 1, or plus 2. Quadratic formula. I do too. Do the quadratic formula on that bad boy, see what happens. We're doing number 11. Why didn't you do it then?
I should have done it. Sometimes these bits are
So x equals, what's the opposite of b? -1 plus or minus square root of b squared, which is 1. Minus 4 times a times c all over 2. 1 minus 8 is -7, yep. That's kind of weird. What's the square root of -7? There is no square root of 7. Well, you still get rid of the negative, though. We have to put an I in front, so yeah, this is going to be I times square root of 7. That's about as far as we can go on this one. So then the zeros, these are 2 of them right here. Those are 2 of the zeros. The other ones were x equals 3 and x equals -3. So those are all 4 of the zeros. The other part of the problem is you want to write this in factor form. It's not hard. You just got to be a little careful with it. Okay, here's what I would suggest. You guys watch it carefully, just so you can make it a little more clean. I'm going to take this and split it apart like this. You guys tell me if you think it's going to be a good idea or not. There's the first one, right? The other one's going to be -1/2 minus I root 7 over 2. You guys okay with what I did there? I just took this big, giant, nasty fraction and wrote it as 2. Yeah. Well, if you're just stating the zeros, yeah. But the reason I split this apart is you guys are going to have to do this now. You got to put them in parentheses. And I think it's easier to put things like this here into a parenthesis than a big, giant, nasty fraction like that. So what are the first 2 parentheses going to be? X minus 3, x plus 3. These 2 parentheses here just came from these zeros. And if you imagine, I'm going to do this also. Put an x in front of this. X equals -1/2 plus I root 7 over 2. If you added the 1/2 over and then minus the I root 7 over 2, you're going to have x plus 1/2 minus I root 7 over 2. Now do the same thing to the other one. If you imagine that there's an x in front of this, what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to add the 1/2 over and add the I root 7 over 2. So it's x plus 1/2 plus I root 7 over 2. That's all you do. So, turn up 12. What's that?
Yeah, key on 12 is the dot next to the choice.
I guess it just ran out. I was like, I can't do this anymore. The answer key gave up on it. No, there's an answer. That's been union regulations. I already worked 40-hour work week.